What is going on, friends? Welcome back to the Your Boy Roy Show. I am your host, as always. I am your boy Roy. Y'all, I hope you are ready. Have your coffee with you, you're having a seat, and you're buckled up because we're gonna have some heart to heart moments today. Uh, I feel like this always kind of comes up and it weighs heavy on my heart every time we start a no excuses challenge. And I start getting into what does it take to genuinely make a lifestyle change? Not just physically, like, oh, I want to lose some weight, but losing the right kind of weight, keeping it off, being a happier, healthier version of yourself. And again, not just physically, but mentally and emotionally. So, what you do here in this aspect of your life flows into other aspects of your life. And so your life just improves as a whole. Because that's our mission here at Rough, is to help people build their happiest, healthiest life. And it never fails that every time we start a no excuses challenge, I'm starting to get on these calls with new people. I'm starting to talk to them and get them set up. And what does it take to change your life? And what are the commitments? And what do you need to do? And it's just so ironic that it's called the No Excuses Challenge. But the amount of excuses that I hear in this, or that I'm going to hear between the last few weeks when we're getting people set up all the way through to the end of this challenge, it just blows my mind. And so it weighs heavy on my heart because I want to just be able to figuratively just like shake some of these people and make them realize that it's possible, that you are capable of so much more than you know, that you give yourself credit for, and that you do deserve this. And it's not that you deserve it and like it should be handed to you and everybody just deserves to be happy and healthy and this and that. You deserve it in the fact of like, you can have it if you're willing to work for it. And so we're going to do this talk. And I feel like it's going to hit you in the good part of your soul, is my hope. It comes from a place of love. But we're going to have some tough love. We're going to have some tough talks, and it just needs to be said. So cheers, buckle up. So this all usually starts because I look at the numbers. And doing this no excuses challenge, between our social media and marketing and all the things that we do to try to bring awareness to, again, our absolutely free challenge. Anybody can do this. Doesn't cost any money. We're going to make it fit your life. I just don't think people realize. And, I get it. I have to take this with a grain of salt because there's a lot of companies that offer a free challenge and they get you on a call and they're like, it's free, but you have to pay this deposit, or it's free, but you have to buy our supplements, or it's free, but here's the catch. And so I get it. So just to give you guys, if anybody's new here, we run an absolutely free challenge. And we have worked so hard to make this free challenge better than most of these influencers' paid programs. This is not like it's a free program and we just send you like this general PDF and like, oh, just go do this thing. Or, hey, this is a free program and we add you to a Facebook group and it's like pre-recorded videos and it's just like, okay, good luck. Our challenge is very involved. It is very, we want to get to know you. We want to make this as custom as possible to fit your life and get you the results you need. And because it's so involved, I could almost see how somebody would be like, oh, I just want this free thing. And they're expecting like just add me to a Facebook group or just give me a PDF, or we're all just going to do like a plank a day or something like very general. And when it starts to be so involved and we're like texting you and we're trying to get you on a call and we're trying to get you a part of our community and we're trying to set you up all the things, I could see how people are like, okay, this is going to cost me money, right? So I can kind of see that. But again, hopefully you guys listen to this, you're new and you're like, oh man, Roy was actually Like you don't have to put a deposit down. You don't have to buy any supplements. We're not gonna but it is very involved, right? And so again, an amazing opportunity. I would highly recommend doing it. Okay. So anyways, we're running this absolutely free challenge. It's designed to fit your life. Okay. I have had people, we actually have two people this challenge currently that have 6 kids who are doing this challenge. I've had single moms with 5 kids do this program. I've had people working 2 jobs. I've had people that just extremely like unfathomable amount of obstacles and limited time and limited resources do this challenge and change their life. And because I've had to such extremes, I've had people with no thyroid, with cancer, going through major surgeries, injuries, having multiple kids, going through divorce, loss of life in their family, miscarriages, finding out they're pregnant. I have had these extremes happen to people during our challenges, and they figure out a way to make it through. Maybe it's not the best challenge or the perfect challenge, or they don't get all the results they want, but they don't give up. They make it to the end. They get a little better. They stay the course. And I always say, as long as you don't give up, you eventually get to where you need to be. And because I've had these people to these such great extremes, I am so in this place where there is no excuse you could give me as to why you don't do this. Because most people, right? It's funny to me to have somebody come to me and they're like, oh, well, I can't do this because I'm just too busy because I have a newborn. And I'm just like, there's somebody out there with 3 kids, newborn, 2, and 5, that's dealing with like breast cancer, that just lost their job, that is doing this and making it work. Right? And I'm just like, and you're like, oh, I have, like, what a blessing it is to have a baby. And again, I want to just shake some people because what I'm asking of you, all right, and again, I'm trying to make sure I'm using my words right and I'm clear to everybody. I feel like sometimes when I say the things I say, it can come off as harsh. Like, Roy, you don't get it. You don't have a newborn. You don't understand how busy it is. And this excuse and this excuse and this excuse. And that's what it is. You don't get it, Roy, but well, it's hard. It's gonna be hard. It's hard for everybody. But what I need you to understand is that what I'm asking of the mom with the new baby, or the person who's dealing with cancer, or just found out they had a miscarriage, or the person who, they're trying to figure out their kids' sports and they just have no time, they're working 2 jobs. What I'm asking of these people is not to go to the gym for 2 hours every single day, 7 days a week, and to be on this perfectly strict nutrition protocol that's like chicken and broccoli every single day, and just this almost impossible plan. I'm not asking that of them. I was just having this conversation the other day because I had this again, and we're going to talk about these excuses that come in. We're going to talk about this. Like, I need you to understand this, right? And I'll just use the example. I had this mom. This is part of one of many excuses I heard. Hey, Roy, I know I signed up for the challenge. I know I made the commitment that no matter what happens, I'm going to make it to the end, because that's the main commitment. To have the mental toughness and the emotional discipline to build the character of what it takes and who you want to become to make it to the end no matter what. And literally on day 1 of the challenge, day 1, made it all of one day. Not even one day, because they wanted to cancel on the first day. Just not sure if this challenge is it's a great challenge and I really want to do it. But, again, there's always the but, because there's an excuse. I just don't feel like it's the right time right now. And her reason being is because she has a newborn, a couple months old, I think maybe 4 to 6 months old, something along those lines. And she's just so busy. She's a stay-at-home mom, so busy. And I asked her, I said, what about this challenge can you not do right now? Like, tell me, is it the workouts you're struggling with? Is it the nutrition? Like, what part of this challenge can you not do? And she was just like, I'm just too busy right now. Like, the sleeping schedule is off, and we just don't have a routine, and this and that, and all these things. So it wasn't so much our challenge that's overwhelming. It was more that she's probably just tired, right? And when you're tired, things are hard. That's the hard part. You're not in a routine. You're tired. The baby's not sleeping. And I said, sweet. So what about our challenge can you not do? I get it. Baby's not sleeping. You're tired. You're not in a routine. But still, what about our challenge can you not do? And she's like, well, I just feel like I don't have the time to work out or whatever. And I told her, I said, okay, well, you have this newborn baby. I said, when the baby's awake or while it's taking a nap, either one, you can hold your baby and just walk with your baby, right? For 15 minutes. You're probably doing that anyways. You could put your baby in the stroller and go for an outdoor walk. You could cradle your baby while it's crying or while you're breastfeeding or while you're feeding it with a bottle, whatever it is, and walk 15 minutes. Right? Like, we can make this fit our life. And I told her, I said, odds are you're probably already doing that anyways. Right? Instead of sitting down in a rocking chair while you feed your baby, just walk laps, right? Like, there's ways to just not have to add in a workout, but to do this while you're already doing the things that you're doing anyways. Again, our commitment, for those of you guys who don't know, our workout is 15 minutes of activity every single day, even if it's just a walk. So, okay, so we got rid of the workouts. You're probably already doing that. You just don't even realize it. You just need to get some steps in. Just walk like it's doable. Okay? Don't need to go to the gym. Don't need to work out for 2 hours. And then she said about the nutrition piece, which she didn't bring up, but I just wanted to put that because I felt like that was coming next. I was like, and you have to eat. Like, I don't care how tired you are, how crazy your schedule is, like, you have to eat. So you might as well just track what you're eating. Because the truth is that with her goal to lose weight, even if you're not working on, all you're doing is just that walking, if we just fixed your nutrition, which takes zero extra time, again, it takes zero extra time to do the nutrition because you have to eat anyways. It's not like you have to add in. It's not like, oh, all of a sudden I need to start eating to lose weight. It's like you just have to change what you're eating. So it shouldn't take any extra time. I'm like, so just track what you eat. Even if you're just eyeballing your food and guesstimating, we can make that work. And so I solved those things. I'm like, sweet. So you could do the challenge, right? Like, these things fit your life. That's the whole point of this. And then, of course, she was worried about, like, okay, watching the educational videos and things like that. I'm like, you could listen to that like a podcast. While you're rocking your baby to sleep, put some headphones in, you can listen to it, right? And so I was like, while you're making dinner, while you're using the bathroom, right? Like, you don't have to listen to it all at once. You can listen to it like podcast. So again, we kind of solved it. And she got to a place where she was like, okay, I'll at least give it a try. But I bring this up because there's so many people that are in that scenario or something similar where it's so doable, right? Like, it really is just to take that next step, to not give up, to have the mental and emotional discipline and toughness to just, like, do it. I know she's tired. I know the last thing she wants to do is like, I got to figure this out, right? Be so much easier just to give up and just be like, I don't want to have the stress of tracking my food, right? Although it's such a simple thing, right? Mentally, you're just like, easy way out. And if she decides not to track her food, to not do the challenge, to not get those extra steps in, whatever that thing is, then what's going to happen? She's going to have no accountability, no discipline, nothing to help her move forward. And odds are she's going to continue down the path that made her want to join the challenge in the first place. She just had a baby. She wants to lose the baby weight. And if she doesn't take these steps now, she's going to not lose the baby weight. And if anything, she might gain more weight. And then when the baby is older or whatever the case is, and she's finally ready to do it, instead of only having maybe 20 or 30 pounds to lose, she might have 40 or 50 pounds to lose, which is only going to make it harder. And she might have more health conditions or more barriers or more whatever this thing is, right? And so continuing that, of this, like, these excuses that people come up with. Because what's interesting is she's telling me that, I have this 6-month-old baby, this newborn, and because of that, it's too busy, it's too crazy. And so what she's saying is that when the baby's older, then I'll have more time to dedicate to myself. I'm sorry, but this needs to be said because I've been doing this a long time. That is the biggest load of horse shit I've ever heard. Genuinely. Because making time for yourself has nothing to do with the age of your kid. It has everything to do with the decision you make that I'm important and I can't pour from an empty cup. Because I have parents who find out they're pregnant and say they don't have time. Then the baby's not even here yet. Got too much stuff going on with the pregnancy. I'm too busy. Then they have the baby, not sleeping, the routine, the this, the that. Then the baby gets a little older, and we're in the toddler phase, and they're walking. And it's just like you have to be on point 24/7, keeping up with your kids. My wife tells me all the time that that was the worst age because it's like they're getting into stuff and they're doing things, and it's just like wild. Then they get old enough that they start doing sports. So now you're having the time that you would have had to go to the gym. Now you don't have that because you got to bring the kids to their sports, to practice, to do this, to do that. Then they start getting into extracurricular activities. And it's like, then you get it, again, every stage of life has its own demands. And every stage of life, because you're setting that precedence right now, when they're 6 months old, you're setting the precedence of, I don't have time for me. My kid is more important, and I'm just going to give them everything, and I'm going to put myself on the back burner. And you start building that habit at literally as soon as they're born. And it won't change when they're 1. And it won't change when it's 2. And the longer you have that habit in place of kids are more important than me, I'm not important, I'm on the back burner, the harder it's going to be to turn it off. Because that excuse that this mom gave me with the 6-month-old is the same excuse the moms give me at 1, 2, 3, 5, 10, 15, 18. Whether you have, and again, she only has 1 kid. And moms will give me that excuse. But then I'll have moms with 2 kids. It's too busy because I have 2 kids. Then I'll have somebody with 3 kids say, I'm too busy with 3 kids. I have 4 kids. I'm too busy. I have 4 kids. Yet I've had moms, single parents. Again, not 2 people helping, just 1 person having to do it all. With 5 kids and works full time. Figure it out. So in retrospect, how does the mom that's a stay-at-home mom that has a husband that helps and supports with just 1 kid can't figure it out because they're too busy, but the mom of 5, single parent with essentially a 1-year-old all the way up to a 15-year-old figures it out? You guys see that? One person has excuses, the other person is overcoming obstacles. And I don't like to get into this whole somebody has it harder and let me show you this examples and this and that, because again, it's hard for everybody. I'm not trying to diminish the parent that has a newborn and saying it's not hard. It's not what I'm saying. I'm not trying to say that this person has it harder or this or that, because everybody is challenged in different ways. Hard is just hard. In retrospect, when you start comparing yourself to other people, we can definitely say this situation is way harder than this situation. But some of you guys are struggling with the excuse of just laziness. You're sitting on the couch, you'd rather watch Netflix with your family than go to the gym. And that's such an easy obstacle to overcome in retrospect, but it's still hard for you and where you're at. You guys see that? Again, at some point, it just comes down to the whatever it takes. No matter what happens, I just figure it out. And so when we get into this, and God, I have so much to talk about, you guys. When we get into this, okay, this is the issue of why we live in an obesity epidemic here in the United States. And it has nothing to do with how our food is made and processed. It has nothing to do with how you were raised by your parents. It has nothing to do with your circumstances, your income, anything of those things. Those are all external things that are out of our control. And again, the reason why I know this to be true is because of the amount of people I have helped change their life here in America. So number one, people will blame the red food dye or how our food is processed or how unhealthy these things are. And could it be better? Absolutely. I'm not saying that it shouldn't be better. What I'm saying is we're all getting the food from the same places, right? I shop at Costco and Walmart and King Soopers just like a lot of you guys would. So again, although our food could be raised healthier, it's still a choice of what you eat, right? And there's certain people who are healthy and certain people who are unhealthy. So it can't be that. Number two, how you were raised as a kid. Well, my parents had a bad relationship with food, or we just ate out all the time, so I never learned these things. That's fine. You're an adult now. Right? Like, you get to make your own choices. You get to decide who you're going to be in this world. And the interesting thing is, if you use these things as an excuse, right? Like how my parents raised me, or how our food is raised here in America, if you're using those things as an excuse, I literally can't fight you on those things, right? Like, sweet, okay, you're right. Our food is raised unhealthy, and the way your parents raised you and your relationship with food is terrible, and you'll just never be in shape. You're right. Now what? Now what? You're just going to be unhealthy the rest of your life? Why even try? Right? No, we have to break that mentality, right? You get to make your own choices. Nothing to do with your parents, I promise. And then you have like your income. People say, oh, I can't afford it. It costs too much to be healthy, blah, blah, blah. It is literally free for you to decide to go outside today and go on a 15-minute walk and do that every day for the next 365 days. Again, I'll tell you the price of it. It's free. Well, Roy, food's really expensive. It is not going to cost you more money to eat at home and make your own food than it would to eat out at like McDonald's or Burger King or Wendy's. It doesn't. If anything, it's going to save you money, because a lot of you guys, like, it blows my mind. A lot of you guys are overeating. You're over-consuming calories. You're over-consuming alcohol. You're over-consuming soda. Over-consuming, meaning you're eating too much. So if we actually decided to get healthy and lose the weight, you'd probably spend less money on grocery bills because you got to eat less food. So if anything, getting in shape is going to save you money. Again, the excuses that people give me, it just blows my mind sometimes. So we have to get rid of these external things that are essentially out of our control, which at the end of the day, our income is in your control. But that's a talk for another day. But it doesn't even matter because your income doesn't directly correlate with you being in shape. So, now that we got that out the way, we're going to stop being a victim of our own life, because people don't want to hear that. And these are the hard talks we have to have. You're being a victim of your own life. And I feel like so many people will get on social media and they'll hear these influencers and these people talking about how you can't be a victim of your own life. And everybody, every single person I imagine watches these videos and they're like, yeah, people who are victims are the worst. Ugh. And yet, a lot of the times, we're the ones being a victim of our own life and we don't even realize it. So this is your wake-up call. Maybe you're being a victim of your own life, and that's why you are where you are and you're not reaching your goals. Again, you probably don't want to hear it, but I told you we're going to have some tough talks today. And so this is, I was saying that this is the reason why we live in an obesity epidemic, okay? So looking at the numbers from our challenge, which is what I was trying to get to. Through all the marketing, the advertising, social media, all the things that we did to try to bring awareness to this free challenge that we're doing, we had over 2,000 people essentially raise their hand and say, I want to be happier and healthier. I would love to do this challenge and get more information. 2,000 people, right? Of those 2,000 people, these numbers, they just blow my mind. A little over 2,000 people. Only about 800 of them actually took the next steps to actually get set up and learn some more information. Again, didn't cost any money, took almost literally no effort, nothing. You want to be happier and healthier? Here's the next step. Just get on a call with us. And we'll just explain it. No commitment, nothing. 800 people. That's less than half the people. Again, everybody says they want to be happy and healthy. That's not unique. But how many people actually want to put in the work to be happier and healthier? And it blows my mind that you could say, hey, I want to be happier and healthier. Sweet. Next step is get on a call. Not even willing to take that step, right? Less than half. And out of all the people who said, okay, I'll take this next step, I'll get on a call. Between people not getting on a call, making an excuse, not getting started, not getting set, whatever it is, we just had a little over 200 people actually get set up to change their life. That means that out of everybody in a pool of people that said they want to be happier and healthier, only 10% actually took the steps to say, I'm committed and I'm willing to get started. That means 90% of people made excuses before they even got started. Isn't that wild? That's where most of you guys are at right now. That you're making excuses as to why you just can't even get started. You're living the same day over and over and over again, and you're living in this place of like, I want to make a change. I want to be happier. I want to be healthier. But hey, wake up call. Everybody says that. That's not unique. The truth is that you don't want it bad enough. You're a part of the 90%. 90% of people are making excuses. Now, here's the crazy statistic, because you have this pool of the 10% that actually are like, I'm going to get started. I'm going to do the things. This is the same people that New Year's resolutions, they go get the gym membership and they're ready to do it. Okay, you said you want to do this thing. You took those steps to set yourself up for success. Statistically speaking, and this is scary, and we're actually improving this number more and more and more and more. But typically, less than half the people make it past week 2. Of 10% of people that said and signed up and are registered and ready to go and willing to do this thing, it's going to fit your life, only 5% in total actually make it past week 2. Going back to the mom who said she was too tired or busy and couldn't make this work and already started making an excuse on day 1. Most people don't even make it 14 days before life throws them some kind of a curveball and they give up. This is the reason why we live in an obesity epidemic. Because people are not willing to do what it takes, to do the hard work to make a lifestyle change. As soon as something becomes a little inconvenient, it gets a little hard, your life gets a little messy, your schedule changes, something that you didn't plan for happens, we so quickly take the easy way out. And so, if you're listening, if you're still here with me, and you're listening to this, I want more than anything to have 100% of people that say that they want to make a change to actually make a change. But the only way to do that is to have these talks and for you to realize that you're your own worst enemy. And you keep making excuses as to why you can't do it. And it sounds great in the moment. A lot of these excuses would probably be justifiable. Again, I've heard the extremes. I've got this surgery, I've got this medication, I got this injury, I have this shortcoming, I lost my job, I had this miscarriage, I had all these things happen. And again, you tell me those things, I'm like, yeah, I get it. But again, at some point we have to stop making excuses. And the beautiful thing about no excuses doesn't mean you need to be perfect. We all have seasons of our life. There's days that I miss workouts. There's days that I forget to track my food. There's weeks where I'm just not really feeling it, right? Those things happen. So I'm not saying you got to be perfect on point. Again, back to my examples. You don't need to go to the gym 2 hours a day, every day. You're going to fall off. You're going to have bad days. That's fine. But there's a difference between I had a bad day, I had a bad week, I had a bad month, and things didn't go my way, versus you saying, I can't do this. Because you saying I can't do this means it's impossible, it'll never happen, and it's just not meant to be. Versus I had a bad day, week, month, year, says I'm still in it, I'm still trying, I'm not giving up. I'm just trying to figure it out. I'm getting knocked down right now and life is hard, but I'm not giving up. That's the name of the game. That's the secret most people miss. You see, when you decide to make a lifestyle change, you decide to build your happiest, healthiest life. You decide to start working out, to start doing the food and the nutrition plan and things like that. You're essentially having to make sacrifices. You're having to give up the person you used to be for the person you're going to become. I'm going to say that again. You're going to have to give up the person you used to be for the person you're going to become. That's going to take sacrifice and hard work. And those things always sound great when I'm saying them and you're hearing them and it's motivating you. But sacrifice is not easy. And hard is hard. It's the biggest thing that comes with the excuses, right? Like, Roy, you don't get it. This thing happened and it's really hard. I said, yeah, but you knew it was going to be hard before you started. We're having this conversation right now, me and you, like you're listening to this podcast. You knew it was going to be hard. Well, I knew it was going to be hard, but I didn't plan for this. And this is really hard. Well, yeah, that's what hard is. Again, reframing your mindset to say, it's not just that it's hard, it's that this hard thing is your test. This is how you prove that you actually want it. And when the hard thing happens and you give up and say, I can't do it because it's too hard, it just proves even more so that you don't have the mental toughness and the emotional discipline to make your dreams a reality, which is the big, hard part of the talk that I've been waiting to get to. Because if I were to do a poll, or I were to ask you right now, hey, are you mentally tough? Are you emotionally disciplined? I would assume that 90% plus of people would say, yes, I'm mentally tough. I have strong will. I'm emotionally disciplined. Which is the exact opposite of the statistic of people who say they want to make a lifestyle change and actually stick with it and follow through. Because so many of us think that this is a physical journey. I got to work out and I got to eat right, like do these physical things. But anybody can do a workout program for a few weeks. That's not impressive. This journey isn't a physical one, it's emotional and it's mental. Because you have to have the mental toughness and emotional discipline to do the hard things and to do things even when you don't feel like doing it. So that way you can stay consistent and do it for the rest of your life. That's hard. That's impressive. And so what's interesting is that if the majority of people would say that they're mentally tough and emotionally disciplined, yet statistically speaking, that if it takes mental toughness and emotional discipline to say, I want to change my life, I want to lose the weight, I want to get off the medication, I want to set a good example for my family, I want to have the confidence, I want to do all these things, and you don't follow through and you don't do it, it means that the reality you're living in versus your perception of reality are two different things. Because you believe you have mental toughness and emotional discipline, but when it comes time to do things that require mental toughness and emotional discipline, you fold and you don't realize it because you give yourself an excuse and you say, oh, these external things happened. It's not my fault. I'm mentally tough and I'm mentally tough and emotionally disciplined, but this thing happened and that's not my fault, so that's why I can't do it. See how those excuses work? And now you're living in a false reality. This is deep stuff, you guys. Because if you can't follow through on your word, it is literally like a handshake with yourself, a commitment you're signing. I'm going to do this no matter what. It's not going to be perfect, but I'm going to continue to show up for myself. And if you can't do that, it's because you're not mentally tough. You're not emotionally disciplined. And what's interesting is that I had this same issue about a year ago. If anybody's ever heard the Thin Gold Band commitment, my episode 100, go back and listen to that. I struggled with this. And I think the issue that a lot of people have is that at one point in their life, you were mentally tough and emotionally disciplined. And sometimes once we have that, or we showed that we had that in a certain situation for a short period of time, we feel like it's there for forever. And I think that sometimes it's hardest, and the example I can use is athletes. Those of you guys who were athletes in high school, especially those of you guys who were athletes in college. It takes a lot of mental toughness and emotional discipline to do the things you need to do to be competitive and win on a consistent basis. And when we leave those sports, you stop doing the things that built the mental toughness and emotional discipline. It's just like working out your muscles. If you don't use it, you lose it. And I don't think people truly understand that. Like if I stop going to the gym, I'm going to lose the muscle that I'm not using anymore. Most people, that makes sense. But when I say, hey, mental toughness and emotional discipline is a skill and it's something you develop just like you would your muscle, don't think people quite, like you might say you get it, but do you really put that into practice? And so athletes, I feel like it's really hard because we feel like we know what we need to do and we've done it before. And again, I reference all the time, like what it took for me to go through martial arts. Like literally I used to get beat with a bamboo stick. I remember being at fight night, not really being good at fighting, getting my ass kicked on the ground, crying like, oh my God, like I feel like I'm bleeding in my nose and I'm crying like, and my martial arts instructor would come over to me and I'm like thinking he's going to like coddle me and he'd beat me with the bamboo stick. Literally he had this sword. It was a bamboo stick. We called it Mr. Herbert. And he'd whack us with it. And God, it hurt like 3 times. Whap, whap. And it was just this whole like mentality of if you're in a fight and you lay down and surrender and give up and start crying, this other person is going to continue just to rail on you, get whatever he wants, worse, kill you, steal from you. In my mind of man and being the leader of my household, what is he going to do to your wife and your kids? Like giving up and surrendering is not an option. And he beat me with that stick. He'd force me to get back up and just give it everything I could just to fight again. And guess what happened when I got back up to fight again? Got my ass beat some more. And if I laid down and gave up and quit, I knew something worse was coming. I was getting beat with that stick. And that's the whole thought process here. The mental toughness is I don't want to get back up. I'm getting my ass beat. And emotionally, because I'm so freaking destroyed right now, I just want to lay down, cry, and give up. But my emotions don't run my life. I need to be mentally tough, do the thing I need to do, get back up and just keep fighting. Because if I stay laying down, something worse is going to happen. And that's where you guys are living right now. You don't have the mental toughness anymore. You don't have the emotional discipline because you don't practice those things. You don't choose to do hard things on a regular basis. And you're choosing to stay down and emotionally just cry, curl into a ball, and give up. And you don't even realize it. And something worse is coming. You're going to continue to gain weight. You're going to continue to fall into your depression. You're going to continue to lean on alcohol and pornography and have a worse relationship with your significant other, not set a good example for your family, get on more, did I say medications, to have more health issues physically and mentally. Something worse is coming if you continue to make these excuses and stay down. Mental toughness and emotional discipline is a skill you develop through your actions. You can't say you're mentally tough and emotional disciplined. It is something you prove every day through hard choices, hard work, and sacrifice. And the beautiful thing is that when you decide that it's just not going to be easy. Like stop thinking it's going to be easy. Stop looking for easy. The beautiful thing is once you accept that, and you have these goals and you're willing to work for them and make the sacrifices and do the things you need to do, you are going to get everything you wanted out of life. You're going to get the confidence. You're going to become a better version of yourself. You're going to set the example for your family. And that is the feeling when you just feel like you could run through a freaking wall. You've all been there before. At some point in your life, you know where you just felt great? You were doing the things you were supposed to be doing. You didn't matter what the world was doing. You were in control. You just feel on top of the world. And that's what it looks like to have mental and emotional discipline, to pursue your dreams and goals regardless of what life throws at you, to overcome obstacle again and again and again, to rise up, to level up. That's when you're your happiest. And the more excuses you make, the more your mental discipline and your emotional toughness just starts to wither away. And it becomes harder and harder and harder to get it back. When I was at my darkest point about a year ago, it was because I had this perception of I would work so hard for 10, 20 years, get this business to where it needed to be, and then all of a sudden I could just coast. Life would just be easy if I just made it to this point. And it was kind of a little depressing when I realized, shit, there's a lot more work to be done. And this work is just never going to end. That fucking sucks. That was the thought I had. But once I accepted it, I said, I guess I have no other choice than just to get up and keep fighting and keep working. And since that moment of I'm just going to have to just do hard things every day. I might lose some sleep some nights. I'm going to have to work out when I don't feel like it. I'm going to have to do the parts of the business that I don't want to do. I'm going to have the hard conversations with my wife that I don't want to have, but needs to happen. As soon as I started doing those hard things, my whole life has been, not even 10x, 100x, 1000x better. And I want that for you. And I wish I could just virtually shake you, because wherever you're at right now, whatever excuse you're making, whatever that thing is, don't be a part of the 90% that just doesn't see it. If my company, if me, if our community, if we're really going to change the world, we have to get this message across that you just have to decide. Because if you tell yourself that it's not the right time, or you can't, or it's too hard, or this or that, what you're saying is that when it's easier, I'll do it. But then as soon as it gets hard again, I'll have to stop. Which, once again, if you say it's not the right time, or you can't do it, or it's too hard, those are three things that you can, if you've said those things, you can immediately identify the fact that, crap, I need to work on my mental toughness. I need to work on my emotional discipline, because my emotions are running my life. Mentally, I just can't make myself do the hard things. Because again, when you make these excuses now, what you're saying is that when those excuses go away, then I'll be able to start. But if any kind of excuses come back into my life, then I'll have to stop again, which is the cycle you've been repeating again and again and again for years and years and years and years. You keep doing the same cycle. You get motivated, you crush it, something happens, you give up, you start over. You get motivated, you start crushing it, you see some success, something happens, you make an excuse, you start over. And you repeat that cycle again and again and again. At some point, you just have to realize there's always going to be an excuse. There's always going to be something that's hard. There's always going to be your emotions don't want you to do it. The little part in your brain is going to be like, please don't do this. This is really hard. And you're going to have to take that little bitch voice and shove it down where it needs to go. Put it in a box and store it under your bed and say, I'm just going to fucking do this. It's not going to be perfect. It's probably not going to go according to plan. I'm probably going to get my ass beat as I'm doing it. And life's going to knock me down a million times, but it doesn't matter because that's just life. And I'm just going to continue to get up, continue just to show up, and continue just to be the best version of myself every day. And that right there, if I can get you just to accept that, it'll change your life for forever. But I can't want this for you more than you want it for yourself. You have to decide. And the crazy thing is that this talk right here, right now, could be the defining moment that you look back on and you say, on this day, look at the calendar, on this day, at this time, on a random Tuesday or Thursday or whatever day it is, my life changed forever because I decided it to be so. It has nothing to do with Roy. It has nothing to do with the challenge. It has nothing to do if you work out today or don't work out today. It has nothing to do with if you have kids or don't have kids, what the government's doing. It has nothing to do uh, with your parents. It has nothing to do with your family. It has nothing to do with your shortcomings or your incoming. When you just decide today, right here, right now, you shake your own hand, you sign a piece of paper, you make a commitment that every day I'm going to do something to move myself closer to my goals, good or bad. I'm just going to keep making it happen. And I'm not going to give up. That's when your life changes for forever. That's when you start stepping into becoming the best version of yourself. I'm going to leave you with this. Because I want to how long is it going to take to change your life? And the answer is it's going to cost you the rest of your life. It will take you the rest of your life to do this. And when you have that mindset, it means till the day you die, you will continue to try to improve, find purpose in your life, and strive to be the best version of yourself. It's an everyday thing. It's not a once I lose the weight, then I can stop. Once I make this certain amount of money, then I can stop. This is a big one. Once I get married, then I've made it, and then I can stop. For most of us, that's just the first step. It's the first milestone to a much bigger picture. Once you lose the weight, sweet. Now the real work begins. Once you get married, sweet. That's when the real work starts. Once you get the dream job, sweet. That's when the real work starts. God, I said I was going to leave you with that, but it's funny how all of this comes full circle for me, because when I was growing up, I did martial arts as a big part of my life. I started when I was 9 years old. It's just always what I wanted to do. And, when you start as a white belt and you don't know anything. And you progress. We had the purple belts, we had the green belts, the red belts, all the way to black belts. And this entire journey is all about just becoming a black belt. Like, that's all you want, right? You want to learn the katas, you want to do the tournaments, you want to get better at fighting, you want to do all these things to get to this goal, right? And the most beautiful thing happens that when you go through the process of becoming a black belt, it's one of the hardest tests that you have to do. It is extremely difficult, and you finally do it and you feel so accomplished. And then you sit down and you start going through the training now that you're a black belt. And you realize that the journey was never about becoming a black belt. It was so much bigger than that. And that now that you're a black belt and you have the understanding of white, purple, green, and red and where you're at now the journey can really start for you in a deeper understanding of what the meaning of all of this is. It's almost like the next step of your life. And that's what these milestones are for you guys. You guys think that it's all about losing weight or but it's just a small step into a bigger picture that you don't even realize yet. Once you get there, you'll realize it. And right now, your journey to quote unquote black belt is just getting to that place where the excuses happen and you normally give up. And saying this is where the real work begins. And then we go from there to a much bigger picture. And we get to the next milestone, the next milestone, the next milestone. And you're going to keep striving for new milestones, again, for the rest of your life. Because there's always going to be a hard conversation that needs to be had. There's always going to be a workout that you don't want to do that needs to be done. There's always going to be a kid's sport that you're trying to get your kids to when you're tired and you don't feel like doing it. There's always going to be a new job or another opportunity or whatever it is. There's always going to be something. And when you again have that understanding that life's just never going to be easy. And you have to choose your hard. And we choose the hard of becoming a better version of ourselves, that, again, is when everything starts to change for you and your life just gets better. So stop making excuses. Work and prove that you have mental discipline and emotional toughness, or mental toughness and emotional discipline. Just prove it. I believe in you. I want this for you. I love you. Thank you for being here with me. Please share this episode. I just don't know who needs to hear this, but spreading the word might just change somebody's life. Just remember, we don't pray for an easy life. We earn a rough one. Y'all keep earning those cookies, and y'all see y'all next episode.